Creating a butterfly-friendly garden is a rewarding endeavor that supports local ecosystems and brings vibrant life to your outdoor space. It's a project that combines beauty with ecological purpose, transforming your yard into a haven for these delicate pollinators. By understanding their needs, you can design a garden that supports every stage of their fascinating life cycle. To attract a diverse range of butterfly species, begin by planting a wide variety of native plants. When making your selections, pay close attention to soil moisture levels and the amount of shade each plant prefers. Instead of planting in rigid rows, consider grouping plants in natural-looking clusters to create a more inviting environment. Researching your garden's specific host and nectar plants will help you better understand the life cycle of local butterflies. Aim to include blooming plants throughout the entire growing season. This ensures a continuous food source, especially during periods when other flowers might not be in bloom. Native plants are fundamental for providing essential habitat for butterflies and other pollinators. Strategically planting host plants, such as milkweed for monarchs or parsley for swallowtails, is crucial for caterpillar development. Complement these with nectar-rich blooms like coneflowers and asters to support adult butterflies. Larval host plants are absolutely essential for the survival of butterfly and moth species. To discover which native plants serve as larval hosts in your specific region, consult online tools or resources like entomologist Douglas Tallamy's work in Bringing Nature Home. This research helps you select appropriate species for your garden while avoiding invasive plants that offer little benefit to these beneficial insects. Adding native trees further enhances your garden's biodiversity, supporting numerous butterfly and moth species. For example, oak trees alone can host over 500 species, while hickory and cherry trees also support hundreds. Planting nectar-rich flowers throughout your garden provides much-needed food for adult butterflies. Asters are known to attract monarchs and zebra longwings, while Phlox paniculata draws in swarms of bumblebees. For smaller gardens, consider compact cultivars like Little Joe. The goal is to create a garden that is both attractive and productive throughout the growing season. Achieve this by including various flower colors with staggered bloom times. Butterflies tend to prefer groupings of flowers over single blooms and are often drawn to heavily perfumed blossoms. To further attract these insects, include patches of dry grass or mud where butterflies can rest and absorb vital minerals and salts. Many of the same flowers that attract bees and hummingbirds will also draw butterflies to your garden. For an optimal butterfly garden, select perennials and annuals with long blooming seasons. Perennials like fuchsias, peonies, and trumpet vines provide consistent nectar. Annuals such as parsley, dill, or fennel are excellent leafy food sources for caterpillars. An inviting sunny spot is essential for creating a successful butterfly garden. Butterflies and moths are naturally drawn to warm, sun-kissed areas where they can raise their body temperatures, which is necessary for continuous feeding and flight. Plant groups of 3 or more of the same species to make them easier for butterflies to locate. Ensure you include plants of different heights to offer varied habitats, as some butterflies prefer taller blooms while others favor shorter ones. Soil quality is equally important when creating a butterfly garden. While almost any kind of soil can work, organic soil is preferred for optimal results. Be mindful that sandy or gravelly soils dry out quickly, providing insufficient water for insects and offering little respite from drought conditions. Add flat stones for butterflies to perch on and shallow dishes of damp sand for drinking. These provide essential trace minerals from the soil. If possible, create puddling stations by sinking saucers or bird baths filled with a mixture of soil and sand below ground level. These stations offer male butterflies a place to gather fluids needed for mating rituals. While planting native flowers is effective, providing shelter throughout the butterfly's life cycle is even more impactful. Butterflies need protection from windy weather when laying eggs or pupating into chrysalises. Adding dense shrubs, tall grasses, or brush piles to your garden provides crucial shelter and resting spots. Butterflies love sunny, warm areas where they can bask and absorb sun to warm their wings before flying, which is essential for their nectar production and survival. Furthermore, most flower blooming requires full sunlight. When you create an ideal environment for butterflies, their caterpillars and nymphs will also thrive in your garden. Many butterfly species prefer native host plants as larval food sources, though some non-native options can suffice. Be sure to include native caterpillar-friendly plants to ensure enough food for future generations, such as monarch butterflies. Puddles, wet sand, and overripe fruit can also help draw butterflies and moths. These attractants provide essential nutrients that may not be available through their regular diets. Homemade puddling stations can be created by filling a shallow container with sand, compost, and water. Special moth brews can even be concocted to lure night-flying insects. When using any attractants, always carefully read and follow pesticide label instructions, as pesticides can harm not only butterflies, but also other beneficial insects and the soil environment. Broad-spectrum pesticides should never be used in butterfly gardens. Many of the same chemicals that kill garden pests also harm butterflies and other pollinators. Instead, use less toxic spot treatments on plants affected by caterpillars or aphids. Consider organic solutions like horticultural oils, insecticidal soaps, or even Bacillus thuringiensis, known as BT, for improved results. Your garden should include both nectar plants and host plants to attract as many butterflies as possible throughout the season. Nectar plants offer nourishment for adult butterflies and moths, while host plants serve as places for eggs to hatch and larvae to feed. Both kinds of flowers should include fragrant varieties with deep orange, pink, or purple hues, as well as yellow, white, blue, or red. This diversity in color and fragrance will attract a wider array of butterfly species. Butterflies require water for drinking and mineral absorption. Cloudless sulfur butterflies, for instance, gather near shallow pools of water during the heat of the day to replenish themselves with essential minerals. You can replicate this behavior by setting out a shallow dish of water or a plant saucer filled with pebbles and sand. Your garden should include plants to support every stage of a butterfly's life cycle, from egg to caterpillar and adult. For optimal butterfly-friendly conditions, avoid synthetic fertilizers and herbicides, and strategically place wildlife-attracting flowers throughout your yard. This approach benefits all wildlife you wish to encourage. Cluster planting is an approach utilized in permaculture and sustainable gardening to maximize space utilization, promote biodiversity, conserve water usage, and enhance plant health. It involves grouping closely spaced plants together in an informal, naturalistic landscape. Natural communities of native shrubs, perennials, and wildflowers often form masses and drifts, intertwining to create patterns of height and color reminiscent of cluster planting techniques. Cluster planting adds structure and visual interest to your garden, while serving as excellent food sources for butterflies and other pollinators. This method works especially well in smaller vegetable gardens because it allows you to fit more crops into less space, increasing your yield. Planting clusters requires careful consideration of both the mature size of each plant and its specific growing requirements. When planting smaller bulbs such as crocus, snowdrops, dwarf irises, or scilla, space them closely but ensure they are not touching each other. Larger bulbs like tulips, daffodils, or anemones should be planted at least 3 to 5 feet apart for best results. When creating ground cover clusters, consider the maturity and growth rate of each species. Select plants that perform best in that specific location, while complementing any existing designs. Romer's fescue, for example, can add visual interest by growing through other flowers, forming mounding fountains of thin blue leaves that move gracefully in the wind and catch the light. Plant patches of native grasses or ground covers to support caterpillars and butterflies as they prepare to fly. Groundels, in particular, offer crucial habitat for monarch butterflies as their larvae find respite in this host plant. When butterflies emerge, they often head straight for these natural structures.